I don't see any reason that you would want or need physical discs anymore. Also, it's a size limiting issue. So I worked in the game industry for a long time, and one of the jobs that I did on AAA games was I was getting the game to fit and work on a disc. Let me turn the volume down while I tell this story. When the game was done, like getting the game to fit on a disc. And I gotta tell you, it was a nightmare, and there's a whole bunch of things that made that really difficult. The first one is that the size of the disc is limited. So if your build was too big, you usually have to take stuff out of the game to fit it on a disc, which I thought was just a horrible thing. Like, why would that limitation be the limitation that you would care about? The other problem was that load time on those discs was very, very, very slow, especially nowadays with, you know, people having SSDs and things like that. I think, you know, probably under certain conditions, you could probably stream data over the internet faster than you could pull it off of like a DVD. So we had to do crazy stuff in those days. Like, what we would have to do was, when a game started, we put up like, you couldn't have delays. You couldn't have the game just do nothing for a long period of time. It was one of like for example, the Xbox requirements. So if your game was going to take a long time to load, you'd have to do all this goofy stuff. So like typically what we would do is when you started the game, we would put a splash screen up, and you could see that splash screen for 3 or 4 seconds, and that would give you enough time to load a video. And then you could play that video for 10 or 15 seconds, and that would give you enough time to like load a start screen in the game. And then after it loaded the start screen, you could keep the person delayed there enough until it like loaded the next thing in the game. But we had to do all this chaining, and I remember actually having to do that myself, is setting up all these scenarios where the games would do these things to load the next thing. So not having to deal with those requirements of the disc is it's kind of nice. There was this era almost 20 years ago when games were being distributed on Steam where you would get a disc and it would just be like a key that would download the game from the internet. So I don't really understand, aside from like merch paraphernalia, I guess the second-hand use of the games, like being able to sell the game at you know, like second hand or give it to your friend, was an advantage of the game, of having discs on the game. And I guess it's kind of an unfortunate side effect of you know, going to a digital system, is that you can't, you know, transfer your stuff over